I
Mhm.
love to just ask people if you could introduce yourself and tell us what you spend your time doing.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Taylen. I'm an action and adventure photographer and content creator, based currently in Whistler, but I've been in and out of the Sea to Sky for around 4 years. And yeah, I spend most of my time climbing and skiing and surfing and doing all the adventure sports, and then also kind of documenting them. Yeah, I just kind of recently got into freelance photography. I've been doing like content creation for a while, and yeah, I just love going on adventures and being outside, and yeah, kind of being creative as well and documenting my adventures. So yeah,
hmm How did you get into like the content side of it?
yeah.
Or like what
Um,
kind of have, or you can just kind of do like a broad overview of like what the last couple of years have looked like.
Yeah, totally. How did I get into it? Yeah, I think so. Out of high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was like always big into ball sports. I actually went and played post-secondary basketball right out of high school. And I lived in Edmonton for a year and was studying psychology, playing basketball, but I didn't really like being in the city. And I've always been pretty outdoorsy. And so I like really missed that aspect of like having access to the mountains. Um, and yeah, I wasn't really aligned with like the program I was in. And so I decided to kind of switch things up after that year and go into like this guiding program at TRU. They have like a 2 year like certificate and diploma program in adventure guiding. And so yeah, I decided to do that. And yeah, it was a really cool program. Like we were always going on out trips, and yeah, they offered every single discipline from like climbing to skiing to surfing and like mountaineering and rafting and like literally everything. And so yeah, the first year I kind of didn't really specialize. I did everything, and we were always like going on these really cool adventures. And so yeah, I just started like documenting just with my iPhone and like posting on TikTok actually, and just like had this like little adventure scrapbook kind of. And yeah, not with the intention of like going viral or like gaining a following or anything, but it was just kind of like for me, um, something that I could look back on and just be like have like so many good memories and like cool little adventures to look back on. And yeah, then one thing led to another, and like it's super easy to go viral on TikTok, and like a couple of videos took off, and then I had like brands starting to reach out to me. And yeah, I realized like, oh, you can actually make money from doing this. And so yeah, I kind of took it a bit more seriously, just like doing, yeah, adventure lifestyle content kind of, and traveling a little bit with it. And then, yeah, I decided like I kind of want to take it the to the next level. And yeah, so then I kind of invested in a camera and did
Mm.
it a bit, yeah, a bit more professionally, and started taking pictures of all the adventures I was going on. And after that 2 year program, I then went into like a marketing and media program in Whistler. And that's like when I moved to the Sea to Sky and kind of fell in love with the community here. Yeah. And then actually, that was kind of when I picked up the camera for the first time. And like the program that I was in, it taught yeah, photography, videography, like photo editing, all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, I gained a bit of technical skills through that program, but the rest I think is definitely like self-taught. So yeah, now still like pretty new to it. Like it's been maybe like 4 years of me like just building my portfolio and slowly starting to like network and make connections and like work with brands more on the photography side of things rather than just like influencer stuff.
hmm
But yeah, it's been really fun and a good learning experience.
hmm I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of a rad way to like actually get into the photo space too, because it's like you do have
Yeah.
this one like kind of unique side of it, and then it
Yeah.
like you already have those connections too, and so like actually being able to take it a little bit more seriously and be like, okay, this is what I want to do. Yeah, that's pretty sick. What was
Yeah.
the program that you were doing in Whistler that was like kind of teaching you more of the hands-on side of it?
hmm Yeah, it's called the Marketing and Media Management Program, and it's at Whistler Adventure School. It's kind of like a small guide school, like similar to the program at TRU. They also offer like mountain guiding courses or like
hmm
bike technician, like ski tech courses as well. But yeah, I just decided to do kind of like the media route, and it's just like a year-long diploma program. And yeah, I learned a lot of like marketing and social media stuff, how to like build yourself as a business kind of and build your own brand. And then yeah, all like the photo and video editing and technical skills like using a camera as well. So yeah, I feel like that kind of like taught me a lot. That was definitely my intro into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, after that I actually got into like this program with Canon Canada. It's called the Canon Futures Program.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a year-long mentorship program where we had like workshops kind of every week, and they flew us out to like Banff and Toronto, and we did these like in-person retreats with their ambassadors and had
Mm-hmm.
this like mentorship. And I think that also kind of like accelerated my career in a way, and like also just being able to like make connections in the creative industry. And like yeah, through that program now I have lifelong friends and like
Yeah.
industry connections, but also just like really good friends through that program that are like my coworkers. But yeah, also just like you get to do like passion projects together and just have fun and create. So yeah, that was a really big thing for me as well.
And was that another like year-long program?
Yeah, it was 1 year. I actually don't think they run it anymore. Like
Mhm.
yeah, I got into year three. I think it was their third year of running that program, but now they're doing, I think it's called Canon Ignite, which is a different program. You actually have to pay for it, I believe. Whereas this one, like it was a free, like basically free
Mhm.
schooling, and they even like sent you a camera, like a free camera that you got to keep, and
That's
just
so
like having that as a resource as well, and then all of like the knowledge and stuff that I gained from it as well. So yeah, it was so awesome. So
hmm
cool.
Were there any trips from that year that were like crazy standout ones?
Um, yeah, I mean, with that program, we got to go to Banff. They flew us all out to Banff, which was really cool. And it was like I think a 4-day retreat. But we got to go climbing actually one of the days. There's like a group of us who were kind of like the West Coasters, and we're all super outdoorsy and into like all the adventure sports. And um, yeah, we had a day where it's like, oh, you can choose to go hiking or like climbing or whatever. And so a group of us got to go climbing and actually like set up a fixed line on the wall and get to like just shoot a little project all together. And yeah, it was like
Yeah.
such an experience. And then also just the yeah, we had like round tables, kind of like panel discussions, and just like yeah, there was so much kind of like conversing and just like yeah, so much that I learned from that
Mhm.
experience that was like I'll carry with me for a while. So yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was awesome.
Well, and was that kind of like more adventure focused still, or was it a little bit more of like a broad program?
No, it was pretty broad. Like, they take 20 creators all across Canada, and so they kind of try to diversify and get people from each province, I think. And
Mhm.
they just so happened to like get a group of us who all kind of lived in the Vancouver area, like maybe four of us. We were all super similar, and we all climb and ski and
Mhm.
yeah, do all the adventure sports. And so I feel like we kind of like became super close. But even with everyone else in the program, like we had lots of people from like, yeah, all over Toronto, like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Quebec, like
Mhm.
um yeah, it was so cool to see how different and unique everyone was, and like and how they create. And yeah, we had like a few fashion photographers and
That's so cool.
people who
Yeah.
like made documentaries and like were more
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
makers, but also yeah. And then for me, I was kind of like it was crazy because I was just getting into photography and I didn't really have a portfolio when I applied for this program. And yeah, but I think they probably saw potential in me just through like my content creation side of things. And then, yeah, I don't know. I like literally had like nothing at the time. So I'm like, I guess they saw something. But yeah, then after being in that program, I feel like that kind of gave me the spark to kind of keep going with it. And yeah, it gave me the motivation to, yeah, continue in this line of work, I guess. So,
Mhm. Well, and like, what was it that initially drew you to the kind of like more extreme adventure side of it? Because even like choosing to do that like 2-year program, I feel like that's kind of a big like dive of like, okay, I'm actually gonna spend like 2 years doing this and like I don't know. It definitely like writes your path forward a bit.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like my family, they're all pretty outdoorsy and my parents are educators and my dad actually taught like an outdoors program. He's like a high school teacher
Mhm.
and he taught this program called Summit and yeah, he like they would go ski touring and like do all these out trips. I think like they went climbing as well, did this like canoe like 5 day long canoe trip or something throughout the year they'd yeah always be outside and there was like a forestry aspect to it too I think and yeah he kind of got me and my sister into rock climbing and backcountry skiing as well. I actually grew up cross country skiing and competing in biathlon and then kind of made the switch over to yeah super random but kind of made the switch over to like downhill skiing when I was in high school because all my friends did. I was like, oh, this is the cooler thing to do.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, like I think because of that, like my parents wanted me to go into this outdoors program in grade 9 or 10, I think it was like middle school. They offered this program called like the Valhalla Wilderness Program. And yeah, it was kind of like an intro, I guess, into like adventure guiding, and if you want to go that route, but it was just a different, like, totally different curriculum. And we spent most of our time outside, which was awesome. And I have never been really an academic person. And so I've always been more drawn to like just like working with my hands and yeah, being outside and going on adventures and stuff. So I think for me, it was like a better way to learn. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, I think through that program in middle school, that kind of gave me an introduction into all these sports. And then, yeah, after that, like post secondary, just not being super happy in the city, I was like, oh, I kind of want to go back to the mountains and get back into this. And so, yeah, for sure, through that TRU program, the guiding program, um, yeah, that kind of, I made a lot of friends and connections and, friends who are now like mountain guides or rock guides.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
or like even living here in Whistler, I have so many friends who are like professional athletes and pro skiers and stuff. And they're like, hey, do you want to come shoot me today? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll tag along on a shoot. And like, it's just a good way to like, yeah, make connections being here for sure. Like, yeah, it's
Mhm.
the mecca for that.
No, it totally is. Were you think like was that kind of the thought of like, okay, I might go the guiding route before getting into the content side?
Yeah, totally. I totally thought I was gonna like become a guide.
Mm.
I actually did. I kind of went like the surfing route. Like I did the surf progression, and that was kind of something I fell in love with, like in the
Okay.
program. And
Yeah.
so I lived in Tofino a couple years back and was surf
Mhm.
instructing there. So I guess in a way that was kind of like guiding, well, more like instructing. But
Mhm.
yeah, just like I don't know, it's a lot of work to like become like a mountain guide or rock guide and so much money and time invested and
Mhm.
like yeah, I don't actually know how much money you can make from it, but I definitely like was more drawn to like once I started taking photos in that like atmosphere, I was definitely more passionate about that. And I was like, oh, I think this is also more feasible too. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. How was the time in Tofino?
Oh, so much fun. It's such a cute little town. Um, yeah, I love it so much. I actually haven't been back this summer, but I've been meaning to go. And I think, yeah, probably when I get back from my sister's wedding in San Juan, I'm gonna do a little road trip out there and
Mhm.
go surfing. And yeah, we'll see. Maybe do a winter trip because that's when the swell kind of picks up. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Have you ever been?
No, it's been like it's another spot that's just like been on my list for so long, but I it's like the perfectly wrong amount of like driving distance from me, I feel
Mm,
like, where it's like,
yeah,
it's like a full 8 hour thing. And so like in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like a weekend trip. But at that point, it's like you could just drive out to like the Oregon coast and it's a lot
true.
more manageable.
True that. Yeah. At least like here, like in Squamish, it's like a half-hour drive to the ferry terminal. It's
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
ferry that costs a lot, and sometimes on weekends it's so crazy busy.
yeah.
Just yeah, waiting in line and stuff, but it's so worth it. And then from there, it's like another like 3-ish hours to
Mhm.
Fino, and yeah, it's definitely
Well,
worth
and
it.
then like everything just looks so lovely out there. I feel like I had thought about coming up and like spending some time. I had a van. I actually just sold it like 2 weeks ago. But
Mhm.
whenever I was looking, I was like, I have no idea what the camping situation out there is. And so
Mhm.
I don't, yeah. But anyways,
It's not great. It's so expensive. Yeah.
I know. And then I was like looking, I was like, is there any like free camping? And then it seemed like there wasn't. And so I
Yeah.
was like, and then everything was like always booked. I was like, you know what? I might just like come back with friends and get an Airbnb instead.
Yeah, it's so brutal. I actually like when I lived there, I was like living out of my car
Yeah.
and I was like stealthy enough because it's a car, like it was a actually like a Honda Element, just like fully like tinted windows too. And so
Yeah.
it's
You
discreet
get a
enough for yeah, you can get
yeah.
away with it and kind of like I go up to actually I probably shouldn't say where I would go and sleep, but there's like definitely like sneaky spots that you can just like park and but I was definitely yeah, I was like such a dirt bag. But then kind of halfway through my time there, then I got into like staff housing and then but was
Oh,
just like parking in the driveway, sleeping in my car, and then like going inside to use all the facilities and stuff and then paying like
yeah.
half the price. So
Yeah.
yeah, quite the experience. But yeah, it is really hard to like do van life there or even just like find a campground. And they're always booked up and so
They're
expensive.
so expensive. I don't understand
Yeah.
why they're so expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Making affordable camping in Tofino.
Yeah. Or you just gotta have friends there, I guess. So
No. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks super rad. And yeah, the surf, because had you done much surf before that program, or like how did they even weave that into it? Was it just like, oh, we're gonna go spend like a week out in Tofino surfing, or like,
Yeah, basically, I actually hadn't really done any surfing before that program. Um, like, once or twice, maybe on family vacations, like in Sayulita, Mexico.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, like it was so the surf progression, we had like three courses. The first one was kind of just like an intro to surfing, just learning. Um, also like learning how to teach it as well, because like after
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
program, like you have to be able to instruct it. And so like memorizing like the safety talk, like learning the parts of the board, how to like, yeah, safely walk out into the whitewash because all of the training and all of like our coaching was like in whitewash or whitewater. So,
Mhm.
yeah, pretty low risk, I'd say. But yeah, and then kind of like learning to trim and carve and yeah, finding spot X like out in the
Yeah.
um yeah, kind of like getting past the break as well, like all that kind of stuff. Um, and then yeah, I feel like just we went out to Tofino probably like 3 or 4 times with it and spent like a week each time out there. And I feel like you just like we were surfing twice a day, every day. And
That's
yeah, I
the
feel
way to
like
do it. That's the way to
yeah,
make it stick right there.
yeah, totally. Just having that repetition, like I feel like just I accelerated so fast at the sport and then fell in love with it and
Mhm.
then living out there instructing like yeah, you don't really have to be that good at
Mhm.
surfing to instruct it, especially because you're just staying in like hip deep water the whole time with your
Yeah.
clients and stuff. But then yeah, like I moved out there because I wanted to get better at the sport and then just like being out there the whole summer and having the repetition of like going twice a day and then like also I do like 2 or 3 lessons a day as well. So I was just constantly in the water and yeah, I definitely like got a lot better, I'd say, from living out there. But yeah, so
Yeah, no, the repetition is so key. I picked it up when I was in school in San Diego, and it was just like, I think my freshman year I had not really surfed because I was just like so intimidated because everyone's like insanely good in San Diego. And
yeah,
when I was there my second year, it was COVID. And so there was just like half the regular amount of people. And it was just like every day I had nothing to do. So I'd just like wake up, go surf, do some
yeah,
like online school, and then like go out and like surf the whole afternoon. And
yeah,
like if I hadn't have done that, I don't think I would have like actually felt at all competent in it. But yeah,
yeah,
like doubling down and like actually being out there like every day twice.
totally.
That's the way to do it.
Such a good life. And it's so addicting too. Definitely like I feel like learning in Tofino is pretty hard, especially the time of year that we
Also
went. It
like
was
cold
just
water. Like,
yeah,
well, it's
cold
not, I mean,
water.
it's kind of warmer water than like lots of areas in the Pacific Northwest, but like it's
Yeah.
still just like cold outside. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold and just like messy and like yeah, just really tricky conditions to learn in, but I think that's what made us good. And then we actually with that program then at the end of the year did like a surf expedition. It was more like a road trip, but they called it an expedition.
Mhm.
We went to like California and Santa Cruz and like went to Pleasure Point, just like the chillest
Oh, yeah.
point break or beach break and just like that I feel like that's where I got better. We spent a week out there, I think, and
Hmm.
um yeah, it was a lot more mellow and like a bit warmer water and yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Wow, this program sounds like insanely great.
yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah. And
Yeah.
learned so much, made so many friends, and like everyone was just so down to earth and chill. And it's like, how is this university, Like so crazy.
Yeah, that is so
Yeah.
cool. So when was it that like during that and like during the TikToks, what was the first video that like caught fire?
Oof. What? I think it was something really stupid, actually.
Usually
It
how it
was
goes.
like something about my boyfriend at the time,
Hmm.
um, going out on some sort of like ski mission. Like, so I was at like a friend's birthday party or something, and I had just gotten back. It was like 3 a.m. and I was going to bed, and he was actually heading out to go do like I think it was like the Aussie Couloir or something like in the Coquihalla or no, that's in the Duffys. Yeah, he was driving to the Duffys, and yeah, I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to do the drive, and then just like for conditions and to beat like the sun and whatever, like he had to leave super early. And it was just a video of him like walking out the door, and I was like saying bye to him, and I can't remember what the text on the screen was, but people were like dissing me. Like it was actually just so much hate, and like that's why it went viral because they're like, he's way too good for you. Like you're just out there partying, and he's like off doing all this crazy shit. Like you're not
Oh my
meant to be
gosh.
together. And it was just like something super dumb. That was actually the very first video I think that took off. But then it's so weird how the algorithm works, and
Yeah.
like once you get traction on one video, then everything else that you post kind of like yeah, it starts to snowball. So then after that, it was all like my nice like adventure content. And I think from there it was, yeah, it's super random, like how it all works.
Mhm.
Like most of the videos that do well, unfortunately, are like controversial, like
Yeah.
videos that get a lot of hate comments, which
Mhm.
is kind of funny. But yeah, now have kind of like tried to stop being controversial or just post like stupid shit. I used to just like not care what I post on TikTok and it was like super random, but now I think because of that I'm a bit more like it's a bit more curated.
Hmm.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is kind of
Well,
funny.
how did you like how did that actually make you feel though? Like having a video where then it's just like all of these people are seeing it and then like if it's controversial, like getting these like hate comments too.
Yeah.
I don't
It
feel
was kind of just
like
funny. Like it was a joke because,
yeah.
people have no idea like what your life is actually like and they just make all these assumptions just from seeing one video.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was not the case at all. Like me and my ex, like we'd go on so many like adventures together and we were pretty similar, like
Hmm.
wise in terms of like our motivations and what we wanted to do. And like, yeah, we had a good thing going. And but yeah, people didn't see that. And they're like, oh, he's way, way too good for you. And like, yeah, it was so random. But it was mainly just funny. Like you just gotta laugh about it. And I feel like a bunch of my friends were then like commenting back or like kind of defending me and it was just like this weird like war going on TikTok. Yeah, so weird, but
Hmm.
yeah, that hasn't happened in a while, so it's good.
Hmm. That's pretty funny though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially with the controversial ones. I mean, it totally makes sense, but yeah, you know what? It says something about humanity as a whole.
people are weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So when was it that you like, how did you kind of end up picking up the camera throughout that? Was it just like you were like, okay, I also want to document with like more professional photo, or like when was it that you were like, okay, I want to explore this a bit more?
Mm. I don't know. I think just like I think I was inspired by just like being on social media and seeing like other creatives and photographers doing their thing and like within the like adventure sport realm, I guess. And yeah, just being inspired by them, and being like, I kind of want to do that as well. Like I already had this background in like adventure sports and was skiing more and more and like taking um yeah, like just being in the outdoors a bit more seriously, but I've always been pretty like entrepreneurial as well. And like I
Hmm.
knew that I wanted to kind of like create my own business and work for myself. And so I feel like I've always been trying to find a way. Um and then through I guess just doing content and like starting to like slowly make money with that, I saw potential.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just wanted to make it um yeah, just a bit more meaningful, I guess, with like the stuff that I created. Because it's so easy to just like pick up your iPhone and take a video. Like everyone can do that, but to like put a bit more art into it and
Yeah.
creativity behind it, I feel like that's a bit more meaningful and something I was like definitely super passionate about. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of where I got into the idea of like wanting to do that a bit more full time. Yeah.
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 I was just on a phone call this morning and I was talking with a friend and he was saying like I was asking him because he has like a Substack and like one of the things that he said like totally stuck with me of just like I was like, oh, like, why did you end up deciding to start it? And he was like, well, like I mostly do like commercial shooting and I feel like for the most part like it's almost kind of this like take, like it feels like you're like taking from the space a bit and then
Mhm.
like kind of like creating this own space where it's like a little bit more meaningful, a little bit more intentional. It's like a little bit more of
Yeah.
a way to like actually give back. And
Yeah.
I kind of feel like everybody has that moment at some point of like, okay, yeah, I'm like doing this and I'm getting something from it, but then like how can I like take that and elevate it and actually feel like you're putting something else out into the world? And I think like, yeah, with photo in particular too, it's like you're able to put your own spin on it in such a cool way. And
Mhm.
people are like told like it brings like so much value to the space of just
Mhm.
like seeing your side of it and like your creative output on it.
Totally. Yeah. I feel like the creative space right now is like super competitive, but like everyone, like we were saying, is unique and has a different perspective of things and like how they create. And it's like so cool to like see that. And yeah, it's competitive, but I think it's also like pretty like supportive and everyone's pretty like, yeah, uplifting of each other. And yeah, it's super inspiring for me to like, I have a bunch of friends in this space and we're all kind of like doing the same thing, like adventure action photographers, but we're all so different. And like we kind of have similar clients, but at the same time, we like work with them in different ways and provide something different. So yeah, it's super cool to see that.
hmm I'm
Yeah.
curious, kind of like from just even more like marketing, branding side of things, like you did that like 1 year class sort of where it was like, okay, this is how you actually like take yourself and like build a brand. Like how did that kind of like change and inform how you move forward after that of like, okay, like here's the things that I'm kind of good at. How is like a better way that I can kind of like package it up and like put myself into the world?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a really good question. I don't know specifically how I did it. I think just a huge part of it, like, well, yeah, it's kind of like social media presence, like a lot of it, like online presence, just like having a good website and like work to show for, but also just like in person, like networking and yeah, making connections in the industry and just like being a good person and someone who people like working with. I think that is a huge thing. Yeah, living here in like the sea to sky, I've been able to make so many connections and, people who are in like the outdoors industry, they're like pro athletes. And yeah, like I said, I had some friends who were like, oh, do you want to come shoot with me one day? Or like,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I had a friend who was like shooting for a bunch of like pro athletes and they just like invited me to tag along on one day just to like see how things were run and just for fun really or to help like operate the camera. And I think um through that you just meet, it kind of snowballs, you meet people and then they like working with you and you see them around town because it's like a small community. And then yeah, like one opportunity kind of turns into another. So I think that was kind of like the main thing is just like um being like personable and memorable, I guess. Like people like to work with you. And then also just like, yeah, online, like marketing yourself. I think it's like kind of a big thing as well, just having like a good like social media presence. I don't know. I guess I try to like with my social media kind of like make it meaningful and like tell a story with my content or my work. And um yeah, I used to do more just like kind of like influencer like blog style stuff, but like recently I've been transitioning a bit more into um yeah, like storytelling through photo and video and word. I actually just started writing. I You were talking about Substack. I actually just posted my first, I don't know what you call it, story, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I went on like the Tantalus Traverse like a week ago, and
Hmm.
we kind of had a crazy like epic adventure, and it was definitely something that I had to write about. So yeah, I think that's something that I really like doing as well. As like another form of like creativity is writing. I used to write a lot and I kind of stopped, but it's something that I want to get back into. And so yeah, if I can somehow incorporate that now into my content, I think that'd be sweet as well.
Hmm. Yeah. I know. I feel like it's funny too because I do feel like people are kind of like coming back to writing, or maybe it's just like more this age demographic of people where it's like, it was so easy just to like pull out a phone, but it's like,
Yeah.
how are you actually like kind of like winding down and processing, and writing is that thing, I think, for most people. And
Mhm.
also just that like feeling of, okay, how can I actually take this beyond social media too? Because there's only like so much that you can say. And like I feel like I get so caught up with that, even of like, wow, like I feel like I have so much that I would like to tell the people
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yeah, I know,
Not
but
that
you can't
anybody
even
really
fit it
cares,
in a
but like
cap.
yeah, and then like I'll like think of something and then I'll just be like, actually nobody's gonna want to read this. I'm just gonna write like 2 words and call it a day. And then
Yeah.
I can journal and then, maybe put this on a Substack or something if people actually read it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that there's this like want to like share the full story, and you just can't do that through like an
Yeah,
Instagram
it's
caption.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So what was like so wild about this traverse?
Oh gosh, yeah, it's quite the story. It's really hard to kind of summarize. I was telling my friend the other day, and it took me 2 hours probably to tell the entire story, but
Oh my
I'll
God.
try to just like summarize it
Yeah.
really quick. Um, so yeah, we wanted to do this traverse. Like normally people do it in 3 days. It's like around 30 kilometers, like 2,000 meters. Actually, no, I'd say like maybe actually, yeah, 2,000, 2,600 maybe meters in elevation gain. Um, but also lots of people in Squamish because they're crazy, trail run it in like 8 hours. I think that's kind of like the
Yeah.
FKT.
Yeah, it's
And
like a little thing.
yeah, people are crazy. But anyway, we're like, okay, it's kind of like late season, like it's end of August. It is a bit
Yeah.
late to go, but we're like, we can definitely do it in 3 days. We're gonna summit a couple extra mountains, though, was our initial plan.
Hmm.
And so we are gonna summit three extra mountains. The first one being Osa, and then Pelion, and then you go like do the Tantalus Mountain, and then after that, the last one we would summit would be Serratus. That was kind of like the rough plan. And yeah, we packed food for 3 days, whatever. So we go, leave the trailhead. We summit the first mountain, Mount Osa. It was like around 2,000 meters elevation gain. It was like end of August. Yeah, so we did the first mountain, and it was kind of like late afternoon, super hot out. It's like end of August, like middle
Yeah. Yeah.
September. Um, and yeah, everything's going good though so far. And we go down the other side, and like we were hoping to link to Pelion via the ridge,
Yeah.
but we ended up getting a little bit cliffed out, and we're like, okay, that's fine. Like we have all of our like mountaineering gear. We have a tagline, like we can just wrap down into this little gully and then climb up. I think it was like the west face or whatever of Pelion.
Yeah.
But it looked like there was so much loose rock, and we're like, oh, it doesn't look very safe. It looks pretty risky. So the only other option was to kind of go on the glacier below Pelion, and then eventually like link back up to the original traverse route.
Hmm.
But it was kind of by then getting dark, and we're like, shoot, we're like a day behind schedule now.
Oh, and
So
it's like day
like,
one.
yeah, day one, we're like, oh, great start. So we decided to just like, yeah, bivvy on a ledge and like call it a day. And we actually happened to have a bar service there, and we were like checking the weather forecast, and we just see like all of a sudden rain, which we hadn't seen before. Like we were obviously doing our research before heading out on this traverse, and like the weather
Yeah.
looked super stable and good. And then all of a sudden it just changed like that. And we're like seeing, I don't know, not too much, like maybe only like 4 or 5 millimeters of rain or whatever, but still it's not great for like being in the mountains. And we were kind of talking with one of our friends who was giving us weather updates, like, oh, should we turn around? Like, we're already a day behind, but we really wanted to do it and we were pretty motivated. And he was like, no, like, I think you guys are good. He was kind of encouraging us. So we're like, okay, let's keep going. We're gonna start like rationing food. Um, so yeah, we ended up the next morning waking up at dawn, crossing the glacier below Pelion, linking up to the original Traverse route, and then kept going. And we're like, hey, sweet, we're like making good time. Made it up to to the base of this next kind of like more technical like glacier crossing. And then once you cross that glacier over the col, you're on like the ridge line headed towards like Mount Tantalus, which is kind of the main objective of this
Yeah.
whole traverse. But it was same thing, like super hot out, and from below, like the glacier actually looked pretty sketchy, and we saw like it was just a whole ice field, like lots of open crevasses,
Yeah.
and it's pretty steep from where we were looking. And so we're like, oh, it's really hard to like walk on the snow right now. With the crampons, like it's super slippery and slushy, and it might be like a little dangerous. So we're gonna wait till the next morning
Mm.
to just for it to firm up a little and just have like better conditions. Like we're gonna start at dawn. So we camp out again at this like other little alpine lake. It was actually super nice. And I think we ended the day around like 3 p.m. Like it was still pretty early and we just like got lots of rest. And then next day was like alpine start. Um, we yeah, woke up at like 4:30 a.m., crossed the glacier, was totally fine. Then we're just like walking along the ridge to Tantalus. Um, yeah, lots of it was like pretty like a little almost a little bit out of my comfort zone. Like I've done stuff like that before, but it was pretty like you're pretty exposed and
Yeah.
there's so much loose rock in the alpine that like one hold breaking off, you could fall to your death pretty much. And so it was a lot of just like being fully focused the whole time and just like so on it and just present in the moment, which was pretty cool. But yeah, lots of like um yeah, down climbing or just like soloing kind of over this crazy like exposed
Yeah.
like drop or whatever. And there were a couple times too because it was so late season. Most of the time to like link the route, you just hop on the glacier and get from point A to point B. And
Yeah.
that's so much faster than kind of like,
I'm just
traversing and climbing this loose, crazy like rock that might break off at any moment. And so we were trying to get on the glacier. But because it was such late season, the Bergtrand, which is like what separates the glacier to the head wall, it was like way too big for us to get onto the glacier. And in some places, we were able to find like the little snow bridge that we would kind of like sketchily like sidestep across to get onto the
yeah.
glacier. But we actually ended up, yeah, there's so much problem solving. Like it was just one thing after the other that kind of like kept going wrong, but we were mostly able to like problem solve. And we actually like rappelled down into the glacier, which was like the craziest thing I've ever done. um, I have some like crazy videos, but yeah, we went down into the glacier and then we are kind of like crawling or not crawling, like traversing and climbing along the side of the wall and just getting absolutely soaked because there's like glacial melt and it's just
Because
like
you're
you're
inside of the
because
glacier.
you're in the glacier and you're like yeah against these like massive like ancient ice walls
That's
like however
wild.
many
Yeah.
like meters down like and you're
Yeah.
just above you like oh I hope this like doesn't collapse on me kind of and yeah
Yeah.
it was great but we were able to like link most of it just by finding like a tunnel under the glacier and
Mhm.
then we'd like climb back up back onto the ball and then keep traversing and whatever anyway stuff like that just kept happening um to be fair like we should have gone a lot earlier I think in the season when it was yeah when it was more snow covered but at the same time that made some glacier crossings easier because we could see all the crevasses and be able to like kind of avoid them but I think the craziest thing that happened on that trip was we summited Mount Tantalus, which is like 2,600 meters.
Mhm.
And yeah, we were super stoked and just kind of like sitting at the top having a bite to eat. And we look over and we see these like dark storm clouds like coming towards us really fast. And we
Yeah.
hear thunder in the
That's the
valley.
worst feeling when you're on top of something. And then you're just like, oh
Yeah.
man.
And you're like, oh shit, like we're doomed pretty much because like and it was so weird like right before that my climbing partner Franco, like he's from Chile and he was talking about his worst nightmare in the mountains being getting caught in a
Yeah.
thunderstorm. He's had friends get caught in thunderstorms and have like really close calls, and then yeah, even like friends die in the mountains from it. And like
Mhm.
here in like BC, it's not really like as much of a statistic, I feel like, so I never really thought about it.
Mhm.
But anyway, we ended up getting caught in this thunderstorm. It came like right over us. We were
Yeah.
at the summit, like from the summit, you had around like 6 technical rappels to do after that. And you're at the most like vulnerable exposed spot. And we had just finished our first rappel when like the storm just kind of like engulfed us and it starts like raining. And then like the loudest thunder I've ever heard in my life, like literally like shakes your bones. And we're like standing on this little ledge, kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
just super exposed. There's like lightning on either side of us, like eye level, like way too close for comfort. Like we had our metal climbing gear on, like our ice axes on our bags, like these hiking poles sticking straight out of our bags. And like they started buzzing like with static, like just like making this really weird noise. Like the hair on our arms started like standing on end. And we were just like, oh my God, like I actually like thought this is it. Like this is the end, kind of. Probably
Mhm.
like the scariest thing that's happened to me in the mountains. And we were there just like for an hour, probably not able to move because every time we like tried to go set up the next rappel, like we'd kind of like climb up and you're just exposing yourself. And then we just hear zzz, like this crazy static on
Oh,
end
that's
of our like it was so
yeah.
like on our we ended up like stuffing our ice axes into our bags and like turning our bags upside down because our hiking poles were kind of sticking straight up
Yeah,
in the air,
yeah.
just making us easy targets. And like yeah, we have all this like metal climbing gear, so we're just like so yeah, easily exposed to it. And it was so scary, just like I've never heard thunder that loud. And you're pretty much like it feels like you're in the atmosphere. Like we had no visibility, we couldn't see anything. It was just darkness and then flashing lightning beside us. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was like the scariest thing. But anyway, the mountain weather is so bipolar, so like after an hour it kind of like cleared, and then blue sky and sunshine came out, and it was totally fine after that. And we kept
Yeah.
going. Like we
You really
summed up
just
in
don't
5
think about the electrical storms though up here as
Yeah,
much because it's just like we just don't get them. Or like I don't
not as
think we get
much.
them as much. It's just like
Yeah.
yeah, or it is like a lot quicker and like really the only time I feel like yeah, it's like Colorado or like more central. I feel like you get that more like I've been down in the Sierras and
Yeah.
it's gotten like pretty gnarly where it's like the whole like half of the day it's like electric but you're thinking about it more because you're like
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is like expected. But yeah, you
Yeah.
just like, don't think about it in our area. That's wild.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
many
It was
days did it
so
end up taking you guys? Did you make it in three or did you have to add
yeah. Then
more?
we oh, the story gets better.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So then after yeah, that was day 3. So then it was I think just because we got stuck on that ledge for so long, like it just like put us even more behind schedule. And
Yeah.
we were pretty shaken up. Like we kept going a little bit, but then it started getting dark. So we're like, okay, we're gonna find a ledge to bivvy on. Um, So we find this tiny little ledge on the side of this cliff, to bivvy on and just like scrape together half a meal. Like we're both like sharing these like little freeze dried, like boil in a bag type
Yeah.
meal. And yeah, kind of like hungry, but we're like, okay, I gotta like tomorrow's the last day, hopefully. So we gotta leave some food for tomorrow. Anyway, yeah, the next day it was kind of like the last push. I don't know how many kilometers we had left, maybe only like 7 or 8, but it's a lot of like elevation gain and decline and all that kind of stuff. So, and just like doing really technical stuff, it always takes so much longer. Um, but yeah, we made it. We had a couple more glacier crossings. We made it to the Jim Haverhill hut was kind of the next thing, which I had actually been up there heli skiing with Alenka Mal. I think you had Alenka on the
Yes,
podcast.
I did. Yep, she's
Yeah, yeah. So with her, she runs like those like women's backcountry
yes.
retreats and
I know.
everything.
I really want to attend one of them.
Yeah, it's so sick. I got to go take photos actually for one
Okay.
of them. And so I
Yeah.
had actually been to the Tantalus Range and like Dione Glacier before, but it was so different like seeing it in the summertime. So that was super cool. And we actually saw like a crew. come in on a helicopter just to like take photos and be
Mhm.
up there. And they saw us like emerge from the mountain and they were asking about our story and we were telling them and they were all like so like what? Like so intrigued by it. But then yeah, took a quick break there and then kept going. And the last stretch was fine. Like it was we had to kind of circumnavigate this one mountain, go over the col on like one more little glacier crossing, then all the way down to like Lovely Water, which is kind of like a popular like camping spot. Saw a bunch of people there camping and took a little break. By then we had like one block of cheese left, like a tiny block of cheese this big. Um, we had two like honey stinger gel packets, some magnesium pills that we had for like muscle recovery, and what else? Like a handful of like trail mix. And that
Yeah.
was it. And we were just like so hungry. And like the last little bit, we were like running down Talus and Screen. Like you kind of just have to full send it, or else like no matter what, you're kind of slipping and falling. And we were
Mhm.
like running and then falling over like on the rocks and like just like cursing and screaming. We were like so over it. We're like, ah. And then yeah, kind of funny. We like do the last little bit down like Lovely Water trail, the hiking trail, which was, yeah, now we're on the trail, totally fine. We're like, hey, this is the last stretch. We had a river crossing and then yeah, and then we get back to the car and find out that it's actually not there and it had been towed. And by then we're at like,
No.
yeah, we're at hour 19 of our day. It's 1 a.m. And there's no car. And we're like, oh shit. Like, what do we do
Like
now?
that's like worst nightmare stuff right there. This
Yeah, it was just like one thing after another. We're like, no, wait. And we were like talking about all the food that we were like, oh, we're gonna go order Domino's pizza. I think they're still
one.
open, or like go to McDonald's or like get some sort of food. And like we, yeah, figured out that it had been towed. Then we're like calling taxi companies. Every single one of them like declined us because it was like a Saturday night and they're like, oh, we're making money in town. We're gonna lose money if we like come all the way out to Squamish Valley to get you because it was like 20 minutes or something
Yeah.
to like get out there. Like it's kind of out of town. And then, of course, all our friends are asleep. And so we're like, well, we're going to have to make it a fifth night and just bivvy in the ditch on the side of the road. And so we did. We pulled out the sleeping bags and just like slept on the side of the road. And yeah, the crazy thing was Franco, my climbing partner, like he had to work the next day at 6 a.m. And so, yeah, we
Oh,
set our alarm, like we got a couple hours of sleep, maybe. And then by morning, then the taxis, like they're more willing to come pick us up because they have
yeah.
less on. And so, yeah, we took took a cab back into town. He works at like this bike shop and he just like literally bought a t-shirt off the shelf, threw it on because we're both just muddy and like so smelly and gross, and then just puts on a smile for the customers and is like acting like nothing happened. And then yeah, it was not he like it's like a cafe bike shop kind of thing. So he made us a big breakfast. And then after that it was like the whole ordeal of trying to figure out how to get the vehicle back with no driver's licenses because they're in my car at the trailhead. And it was just like one thing
Why did
after,
the car get towed though?
because like it's we didn't really realize, but all of Squamish Valley is indigenous land. So we
Yeah.
parked like um kind of in the ditch, like on the side of the road, but it was like this driveway. We weren't really in the driveway, but we were just like off to the side. To be fair, I'm like, okay, yeah, like that's something we should have known, but we had talked to a lot of friends who
Was
were
it?
like giving us beta for the trip, and none of
Yeah.
them mentioned that. And so we didn't really think about it. And yeah, like I mean, we were just like in the ditch. We didn't think it would be an issue for anyone. But yeah, apparently it is. And so
But then where
yeah,
would you park otherwise? Because I'm like, that's obvious. Like, it's
right.
a very well-known traverse, so it's like there's people doing it.
I think
Where?
most people get like a shuttle in, or like they get their friends to drop them off and pick them up. But I'm like, who's gonna pick you up at 1 a.m. like
Yeah.
if you end up having an epic or whatever? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, yeah, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, lesson learned, I guess. Yeah, it was a
I
crazy
know.
time.
Should have had like a little note on the windshield that's like, we'll just like, please don't tow the car. Yeah, that's a little bit wild though. And like,
Yeah.
were there any signs or anything that were like, don't leave your car here? Or like,
I mean, that was the one like silly thing was there was like this driveway and at the very end this like yellow barricade and it just said no parking and that's it. And we are like, okay, like this is kind of like the exit point of our traverse. And we're like, hey, obviously we can't like park in this driveway. And so we just parked like near kind of like still on the
Yeah.
side of the ditch, but not in the driveway at
Mhm.
all. And so we were like, oh, I think we can get away with this. But like to be fair, there were telltale signs that like, yeah, we shouldn't have been anywhere near there, I guess. But it was just like at that point we hadn't really organized like, someone to like
Yeah.
we hadn't really organized anything of like where else we could park our cars. So we're like, oh, just fingers crossed it'll work out. And yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Also in the back of my mind, I'm like, who's really gonna come all the way out here and like tow a car? It's like,
Yeah.
why would somebody spend the time doing that? But apparently,
Yeah. But
that's a
$400
wild.
later.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Dead.
think it had been towed like after day one. So it was like, yeah, I think the more time that it spends in like the towing yard or whatever, the more it
Yeah.
costs.
The more they charge you.
Oh, that was one expensive traverse. But yeah. Oh well. It was
Just
like
a little
a funny
trauma during the
story.
traverse with the lightning storm too, and then the tow bar.
Yeah. Holy, I did like that's the story that I wrote on Substack. So I was like, I feel like I was telling all my friends and they're like, you have to write this down or do something. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'll write about it.
Yeah.
That's my Substack. So yeah.
That's pretty wild though.
Yeah.
Yep. The
It was
class.
a good,
Everything
yeah,
else.
good learning experience and like it was definitely type 2 fun, but I yeah, it makes me want to go back even though some of the times I was like scared to death. I feel like you always learn so much in the mountains and it kind of forces you to be super present and in the moment and yeah, I wasn't thinking about work or anything else and I was just like so fully like there, which was nice because usually I have so much going on in my mind, but it was just like oh,
Yeah.
nice little escape from all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else like coming up that you're super psyched on?
Um, Not really. I had such a busy summer that I haven't really been able to like pitch or like plan any projects, but
Mm.
potentially like this ski season I want to go to Japan.
Oh,
It's been kind of like a bucket list thing. I mean, everyone goes there. I've like been having FOMO for the past like four
yeah. Me
years.
too.
Yeah, so trying to make it happen. I actually tried going last year with a group of friends, like creative friends, and we were gonna do this film project. But we ended up like starting to plan in November, which was way too late.
Mm.
So yeah, maybe gonna try do something with it this year, just go there, like do some sort of like passion project with a group of friends, or just go to have fun and go ski. And yeah, it's kind of like my main goal. Other than that, nothing really, just things always come up, but it's always like last minute. You never really know what you're, yeah, freelance life is so random. So
Hmm. Yeah, the highs and lows for sure. And it's just like
yeah,
you just don't know what it might come next.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it keeps it exciting. I like change and kind of like that like unknown factor, I guess. So
Hmm.
uh, yeah, but yeah, definitely hopefully Japan. Another like fun fact is I actually lived in Japan like for 3 years when I was young, like from the age of 3 to 5. My parents are teachers and they went and taught English there. They're in this like JET program. And yeah, my sister and I were like fully fluent in Japanese, like just like fully immersed in the culture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went to Hoikuen, like we were in preschool. And we still have like a bunch of friends in Hokkaido, which is where we lived on the North Island. And so I think it'd be so cool to go back there like 20 something years later and yeah, meet up with our old like friends down there and just like, yeah, go skiing and have fun. But also just like, I think it'd be so nostalgic to go back. Because I haven't been back since I was like 5 years
Do you
old.
still speak Japanese?
No, I lost it all, but I know it's in my brain somewhere. Like we have all these home videos of my sister and I just like yapping away. Like it was our preferred language, like over English. Like we would
That's
play in
nuts.
Japanese.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, so crazy coming back to Canada and like being in the grocery store and it's these two blonde girls just like yapping away in Japanese and like the amount of like looks we would get. It was so insane for people to like see that. But I really want to try to relearn the language because I feel like it would come back super fast. And if I went and spent some time there too, um, yeah, it's in there somewhere.
I also just see that being like the coolest, like if you could tie that in and like make that a full story and do like some sort of like video with that, and
Yeah,
then like also have a bunch of like super badass skiing in it.
yeah. That was kind of the plan.
I
Like,
think that could be a pretty cool thing.
yeah, because I still feel like pretty like connected in a way to the culture.
Yeah.
And um yeah, I think it would be I was actually even thinking of like name ideas of what it could be. And like one of the ideas was like no sutaruji, which means nostalgia kind of. And like
Yeah.
something that my parents always would say, like, oh, Natsukashi, like anything that felt kind of nostalgic or that reminded us of Japan, like they'd always be like, oh, Natsukashi, which means nostalgic.
Mhm.
But yeah, no sutaruji is nostalgia. I don't know if that's kind of cheesy, but I was like, oh, it sounds kind of cool. And
I think it
just
sounds pretty cool. I think it could look
yeah.
pretty cool, and yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of an idea. And my one filmmaker friend, she's Japanese and like, I mean, she's been living here all her life, but if we could somehow like make it a story about us, like going there however many years later and being kind of like re-immersed in the culture and then
Mm.
just like, yeah, sharing this experience with friends and going skiing. And yeah, I think it could be something there maybe. So we'll
Have you
see.
done a lot of like bigger film projects or mostly the photo side?
Not really, but I really do love it. Like, I honestly think I like video more than photo, which is
Yeah.
crazy because I like call myself a photographer, but like photos for me is just like easier. Like right now, like there's so many more components to video, but I find that I gravitate more towards like making videos and I've just like obviously been doing like short form stuff with yeah, like all the influencer and content stuff that I've been doing. Um, but slowly trying to get into more like longer form stuff. And I always have these ideas like popping into my head. So I would love to like, yeah, even if I don't have like, the technical skills to do it myself, like at least be kind of like the producer, creative director, and then hire someone to like kind of like bring my vision together almost. But
Totally. Yeah.
yeah, I do love video and yeah, I'm just getting into it. I actually haven't really done anything really long form other than just like, yeah, short little like YouTube videos. And when I was in Norway last April on a ski trip, I made like a little edit and stuff, but it's just kind of like for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it is hard to get into too. Like, and you kind of
Yeah.
need, I think in all of these realms too, it's like you need like a mentor to some extent. I feel like
Mhm.
to even just like
Mentor.
start. And
Yeah.
like it's expensive to get into too. Like if you're gonna like actually buy like a proper video camera, it's like, yeah, the barrier's high. And then you're also just like jumping into that same issue of just like, okay, it's like super competitive as well. So how do you
Yeah.
start to do that?
Totally. I think that's the main thing is it's just so goddamn expensive. And even just like getting into the photo side of things, like
So expensive.
I've
Yes.
yeah, it's taken years to like build up my um yeah, my equipment, I guess, and
Mm.
still like working on it. And there's still all these things I need. Like there's always a list of like, oh, I need this and this and this, but then it's like, oh, I gotta like do this project to like fund it. And
Right.
yeah, it's an ongoing thing, but yeah, that's the barrier to get into it is definitely pretty tricky. So yeah, I don't know. I guess people probably like take out loans or they rent or hire out people. I don't know, but
Great question. Love-
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's yeah, and there's just a lot of people too that just are like, "Oh, I'm just gonna send it, and then just like happens. And I feel
Yeah.
like it's also kind of a bit of that almost like I don't know, people will get like really, really excited and then like totally crash and burn and have like zero
Mhm.
work and then like find their way back to it a little bit.
Yeah, it's so up and down. Yeah, it's the hard thing is like just like financing everything.
Mm.
Like there'll be definitely like the shoulder season is a bit more hard, like if you're in this kind of like industry.
Mm.
And then there'll be a few months that it's really good and lucrative, and then it'll go back down. And you're like, oh, I need to get another little side hustle or whatever. Yeah, it's
Mm.
so like up and down, but
Yeah, how do you
sometimes
feel like you
I
kind
get
of
up.
feel with like the not like burning yourself out side of it? Because I feel like it is like something that's so hard because, like outdoors and like outdoor adventure sports, it's like
Yeah.
passion, but also work. And so it's like so easy to just get caught up in all of it and like not take a
Mhm.
deep breath. and just like chill for a second.
I know I actually really struggle with that because yeah, I feel like I am working 24/7 and sometimes it's just like, my friends will invite me out for a drink or just to like hang out and I'll go, but then I'll feel guilty for some reason
Yeah.
because like, oh, I'm not working right now, or like I have this and this and this to do. Like the to-do list is never ending. But like I guess just like having boundaries and like like making sure that you do like shut off your brain. You're like, okay, I'm gonna get these tasks done today, and then I have to end at like 5 p.m. and then just like take the rest of the night off. But like for me, I'll work into like midnight, like 1 and 2 a.m. Like, I don't know, I work better at night. And it's just like, then, yeah, have been finding that I'm definitely like getting a bit more burnt out. And just because I don't have a good routine with it, I guess. So, like, that's something I'm still learning. Um, but yeah, and then just I guess taking time like with the photo and the content stuff, like lots of the adventures I go on, it's like I'm always bringing my camera or my phone to kind of like document, but then to also have that balance of like, okay, I just want to fully enjoy this for myself and like not even pull out my camera. Like there's been some times when I just don't even want to bring my camera, even if we're going somewhere really beautiful, or I don't even take like a single iPhone clip or anything, which is like sometimes I regret it. I'm like, oh, I wish I had a picture, but usually your friends have. And but sometimes it's really just nice to be like, okay, like I'm just gonna remember this and take a snapshot in my mind and
Yeah.
just fully enjoy the moment for itself. So yeah, still figuring it out, but yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I even feel too, like, especially living somewhere that is like so many professional athletes and then also like so many really creative people. It's that really like hard balance of like pushing yourself creatively and like athletically, but then also just being like, okay, I can like take a step back. I don't know. I feel like that's something that like I've struggled with of like, okay, if I'm like not doing anything, then I should just go and climb every single day or like just running or biking like every single day. And I'm like, right, I should not be doing that.
Yeah, take like a
Yeah.
mental health day or something. But it's so hard because you see
Yeah.
everyone else just always getting after it. And so you're like, oh, I have to get after it too. But I'm like, they obviously like take rest days too. Like it's all part of it. But yeah, it's definitely like I struggle with that too, just taking a rest. And people call me like a workaholic. And I'm like, damn, that's not good. I like want to be able to have fun too. And like, yeah, enjoy myself. So just, yeah, gotta find the balance.
Yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
wrapping it up a little bit. If you
Yeah.
could leave like yourself 5 years ago, like any advice, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, I think just to like say yes to every opportunity, and do things that scare you because that's kind of the only way that you're gonna grow and learn. And like a motto that I kind of like to live by is like, yeah, just don't be afraid of failure. Um, I don't know what the saying is, but it's like fail fast, fail forward, or fail early and fail often, because that's kind of like the only way that you're really going to grow. And just by saying yes to as many opportunities as you can, like, some of them are going to be successful and some of them you're going to fail, but you're always kind of like working towards that next thing, and making progress. So I think, yeah, just like don't be afraid of failure and just like say yes to everything.
That,
Yeah.
see, that right there, perfect, perfect.